Okay, I have never played Homeworld before it. I had never heard of it before. I would say this is about as blind as you could get almost for this game, but Destiny Rush, who put this on Subblock, was kind enough to give me some notes for playing the game, some tips and tricks, some, settings to establish, which kind of gave away that this is an RTS. So I've played coming up on 900 games on stream now, and I'd say 98% of those are games that I'm middling to okay to decent at. But this is the one genre that I'm just absolute garbage trash at, and always have been. I only ever played RTS on stream. I've never encountered them before in my off-stream, gaming career. So I've been terrible at StarCraft, Warcraft 1 and 2, Supreme Alliance, Majesty, Age of Empires 2, Sacrifice. All of these games I'm dog doo-doo at. So I'm a little terrified about it being an RTS. I apologize in advance for me being terrible and not getting it. I have several pages of material from Destineer to help me get on my feet, but I'm probably just going to have to play it and do my best to figure it out and ask questions. So apologies if I'm repeating things I should know. And this is a genre that I don't know. It doesn't click for me. I think Dungeon Keeper is the closest RTS adjacent game that I've played that has made sense. And given that this one was released in 1999 and we're playing the classic version of it, makes me extra super worried. But let's go ahead and get started here. The recommendation is to start in training mode, so I'm going to do that here. In training.
Welcome to the Homeworld training mission.
Oh, voice acting, that's nice.
Here we will teach you all the basic controls needed to play Homeworld. Let's begin. Left-click on the Next button to proceed. Lesson 1. Using the camera. Click the Next button to begin. To rotate the camera, hold the right mouse button and drag the mouse.
Straightforward.
Click Next to continue. To advance to the next lesson, rotate the camera 180 degrees around your mothership. Next, rotate the camera upward to view the mothership from above. Now view the mothership from below.
Got it. This isn't too bad so far. It might be a little quiet. I'm going to turn up the
Great.
volume a bit here in a sec.
Move the camera back to the horizontal. Then I'll show you how to zoom in and out. To zoom in or out, hold both mouse buttons and drag the mouse up or down. If your mouse has a wheel, you can use the wheel to zoom as well.
Definitely prefer the wheel.
Click Next to continue. Zoom the camera out as far as you can. From this position, we get a good overview of the action. Now zoom the camera
Yeah, right.
as far
Hey,
as
thanks,
you can.
Charles.
Excellent. From this position, we get a good close-up view of the action.
That's cool.
Practice rotating and zooming the camera. When you're ready to move on, click the Next button.
Heard some pretty bad things about the new Pokemon.
Click Next to begin. Most of Homeworld's user controls are accessible from a pop-up taskbar. Move your cursor. There it is.
Okay.
Normally, the taskbar would disappear when you move your cursor away from it, but let's keep it up to take a closer look. Click Next to continue. This
Build
button
Manager.
brings up the Build Manager.
Oh
Welcome
god,
to the Build
okay.
Manager.
It's fine.
Here you can build new ships for the fleet. Click Next to continue.
You go and you watch any of my other RTS
This is your
streams.
RU count. It displays the amount of resource units.
Figure out
available
what
for
freaks me
building.
out about these games.
Click Next to continue.
Okay.
This is the ship list.
Are you?
It displays the ships available for building.
This is a pretty big step up over a lot of the other RTS games I've played in that it has an actual tutorial, though.
Let's build some ships. Left-click on the resource collector to select it.
Nice.
Left-click again on the resource collector to add one to the build queue. Left-click on the build button to begin construction.
I just press B.
Notice the progress bar. This indicates how much of the ship has been built. Click Next to continue. Now add a research ship to the build queue. Left-click twice on the research ship. Then left-click on the build button. Now add 10 scouts to the build queue.
Okay. It's 10.
Good. Now left-click on the build button Take a close look at the progress bar. The darker top bar shows the progress.
Saying there's no tutorials in modern RTS games? Are there modern RTS games?
And the lighter bottom bar shows the progress of the entire batch. Click Next to continue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To exit the build manager, left-click on the Close button or press Escape. Construction will continue. Lesson 3, Selecting and Focusing. Click Next to begin. Select the mothership by left-clicking on it. Deselect it by left-clicking on any empty space. Hold down the left mouse button and drag a selection box around the mothership. At the top right of the screen is the info overlay. It displays all the selected. Now drag a single selection box around as many ships as you can.
Okay, like that.
Notice how the info overlay lists all the selected ships. Click on the resource collector in the list to select it.
You're saying an RTS that came out 8 years ago has no tutorial?
Now the resource collector is
That's
selected.
actually kind of nice.
Click Next to continue.
Just want to use the text and try to remember what they all look like.
Homeworld's camera always rotates around a ship or group of ships. This is called the camera's focus. To focus the camera on the resource collector, click your middle mouse button or press the F key.
Okay.
Good. Rotate the camera. Zoom it in and out. Notice the camera is centered around the resource collector. Click Next to continue. Click the middle mouse button again, or press the F key again to zoom in as close as possible. Zoom the camera out again to continue. You have a line of scouts in front of the mothership. Hold down the left mouse button and drag a selection box around all of them. Resource stocks empty. Click the middle mouse button or press the F key. Now the camera is focused on all your scouts. Now we're zoomed in on the scouts. Move the camera around to take a look at them. Click the Next button to continue. Take some time to practice selecting and focusing. When the action heats up, it's important to be comfortable with these controls. When you're ready to move on, click the Next button. Mothership.
Shit, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, crap.
Lesson 3, Selecting it. Select the mothership by
Meant to click Next. Able to do this fast.
Left mouse button. Notice how the info overlay lists Homeworld's camera. Zoom the camera out again to. You have a line of scouts in front of the mothership. Hold down the left mouse button and drag a selection box around all of them. Research ship complete.
I'll wait for them to finish building, I guess.
Click the middle mouse button. Now we're zoomed. Select the resource collector, focus on it, and zoom in until you're. This is the ship's health bar. It indicates the ship is selected. If the ship gets damaged, the green bar will shrink and change color. Click Next to continue. When selected, a ship's functions are accessible through its right-click menu. Right-click on the resource collector to bring up this menu. Begin harvesting by left-clicking on Harvest in the menu.
Okay.
The resource collector will now find the nearest resources to harvest. Note that you can still rotate and zoom the camera while it moves. Click Next to continue. To move on to the next lesson, select and focus on the research ship. To help you...
Researching technology.
This is a
okay,
research
so this is like a blacksmith.
The faster you can research. To access the Research Manager, bring up the taskbar by moving your cursor. This button brings up the Research
Manager. Okay.
Welcome to the Research Manager. Here you can research technology which will make new ship types available for construction. This window is the Technology List window. Here you select the technologies to research. The green dot indicates that capital ship drive technology has already been researched. Click Next to continue.
That's just a feature of the tutorial. Can I see what that does? Guess not.
Left-click on the capital ship chassis technology to select it. Left-click on the research button. Notice that the technology has a progress bar. This indicates how much research has been done. Click Next to
Is
continue.
it just that I have to have multiple, like there's multiple research steps to be able to make a capital ship, I
Left-click on
guess?
the Close button to exit the Research Manager. Lesson 5, Moving Ships. Click Next. Now it's time to move your 10 scouts.
Ready for orders.
Now rotate
They want me
the
to press
camera
F a
so
lot
we're
to
looking
focus.
straight down on the scouts. Lastly, zoom out as far as you. This gives us a nice view for moving the ships. Right-click on one of the scouts to bring up its menu. Select the Move option from the menu. This is the movement disk. Left-click anywhere on the screen to move the scouts there.
Coordinates confirmed.
Moving ships is very important, so let's try it again. Click. As a shortcut, bring up the movement disk by pressing the M key.
Okay.
This time,
Does this have a similar thing to every other
now let's
RTS
try
where
some
there's
3D
like
movement.
an extra
movement
input
disk
tax
again.
that I always have to put something in to attack move, but I should be attack moving 99% of the time?
Hold the Shift key and drag the mouse up or down to change the height of your destination point. When you have found an acceptable height,
Shit, can I just do that
release
by
the
rotating the
Shift key.
camera?
Now the height of the destination
Okay.
is fixed. Drag the mouse to move the destination cursor at this level. Left-click to move the scouts in 3D.
Destination locked in.
Nice work. Take some time to practice horizontal and vertical movement. When you feel comfortable with these controls, click Next. Lesson 6, the Sensors Manager. Click Next to begin. The Sensors Manager is Homeworld's large-scale map. To access it, first bring up the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. Left-click on this button to enter.
Sensors.
Welcome to the Sensors Manager. From here, you can get an overview of your surroundings and move your ships long distances. Notice that you can still rotate and zoom the camera. Click the Next button to continue.
Okay.
This is your mothership.
Yeah.
The green points represent your ships.
Okay.
The red points represent enemy ships.
Okay. These are like
The large brown
resource
points
nodes.
represent harvestable resources.
Okay.
The small brown points represent space dust that cannot be collected.
Oh, what's the point of space dust then? To just
Left-click
help
on
you
any of your
orient
ships
yourself?
to exit the Sensors Manager and move the camera to that position. Capital Ship. In this way, you can cover large distances quickly. Use the taskbar or press space to get back into the Sensors Manager. Selected ships are displayed as flashing points in the Sensors Manager. Click Next to continue. The Sensors Manager allows you to move ships in the same way you do normally. Press M to bring up the movement disk and set a destination. Focusing also works normally in the Sensors Manager. Press F or click the middle mouse button to focus on the select. You've learned a lot.
You've learned a lot.
Practice moving your scouts.
I
And
think I am
using the
able to keep
Sensors
track of the
Manager.
stuff they just taught me.
When you are ready, focus on the scouts and click Next. Lesson 7, Formations. Right-click on the scouts to bring
Found
up
that
the menu.
formations are generally useless in the RTS games I've played, at least for my like limp to the finish line style.
Move your cursor to Formation, and then left-click on
Like a
Delta.
little.
Establishing Delta formation.
Now the fighters are in the Delta Formation. Use the right-click menu again to assign Broad Formation.
Establishing broad formation.
Good. Next try Formation X.
Some of these formations just
X formation.
irrelevant.
Formations can also be assigned using the Tab key. Press Tab to set Claw Formation.
Claw formation confirmed.
Notice that Tab will cycle to the next formation. Press Tab again to see how.
Delta formation confirmed. Broad formation confirmed. Establishing X formation. Establishing claw formation. confirmed.
This is the wall. Press Tab for sphere formation.
Sphere formation confirmed.
Take some time to familiarize yourself with the formations. When you're ready to continue, put the scouts into claw formation and left-click on the next button.
Claw locked in.
F keys for all of that. It being 3D is cool.
To begin the combat lesson,
I'm trying to like
Sensors Manager
enjoy
to
the
move
extra
your
depth
scouts
instead
near
of
the
it being
enemy ships.
terrifying. Sorry. I don't know if it's just like you needed to grow up with RTS when you were a young kid to be able to grok this genre, but it always just makes me go, oh god, am I going to remember this when it matters? Am I going to have to load my save a bunch?
These are the enemies. Move your scouts here. Once you have issued the move, you can leave the Sensors Manager.
Still focused on them. Stuff like formations that matter and the formations taking place in 3D space is cool. I like it. I have to remind myself to breathe and comment on the stuff that is neat or different from the games I've already seen instead of just being like in full panic mode. That's good. Played some space games that are kind of like this.
View heading set.
But the problem is I didn't have them at the right height there.
Lesson 8. Combat. Click Next to begin. Rotate the camera so you can see the enemy ships.
Locked on target.
But more cinematic for individual battles, it looks like.
To attack them all at once, hold down Control and drag a selection box around the enemy ships.
Engaging.
I guess they won't attack on their own, maybe? Depends.
Pause the action to teach you how to focus the camera without selecting. Click Next to continue. Lesson 9. Alt Focusing. Hold down the Alt key and left-click on any ship. You can even use this to focus on enemy ships. You can also focus on multiple ships at once by holding Alt and dragging a selection box around them. Try it now.
That just for like fun little cinematic reasons, or...
Now practice focusing until you're ready to move on. Press P to unpause the action.
I guess maybe it'll help me to select better. Can I always pause? Is that a free ability? Because if I do that, I'll just pause constantly, and that will reduce my stress enormously. It's a little bit more fixed.
Earlier has been completed. You can now build an assault frigate. Go into the Build Manager. Build an assault frigate.
Permission delivered.
Let's return to your scouts. Left-click. Lesson 10.
Docking.
Some of your scouts might be damaged or low on fuel. To dock them with the mothership, first bring up the right-click menu. Now select Dock.
Coming into dock with mothership.
The scouts are on their way to the mothership to be repaired and refueled.
How much do I have to worry about fuel? Is it just a thing that I should be doing all the time whenever I get into a fight? Is it displayed somewhere? Is it the little blue bar underneath their health bar?
Lesson 11. Canceling orders.
Okay.
Click Next to begin. You've learned how to give orders. Now let's learn how to cancel one. Click Next to find out how. Right-click on the scouts and bring up their menu. Select Cancel. Notice that your scouts have stopped. We actually do want them to dock, so issue the dock order again.
Docking with mothership initiated.
I have a feeling a battle is imminent. When your frigate is built, I bet you will be attacked by a small group of corvettes and scouts. If you want to practice what you've learned, stick around. Assault frigate complete.
I think this is where you said in your notes that here I can just practice for as long as I like. I'll just do for a little bit for whenever the dudes show up here.
Mothership.
So I can set them to evasive, neutral, or aggressive.
Mothership.
Hold and engage. We got contact.
I already have something.
Construction commencing.
Like, do the resource collectors just try to collect resource on their own? It didn't seem like it required me to micro that at all, regardless of distance from the mothership.
Receiving. Aggressive tactics set. Diverting power to weapons.
Okay, so if I set them to aggressive, they'll just try to defend a bit. I don't have to manually manage that.
Assuming aggressive tactics. Diverting power to weapons.
The mothership is under fire. Production underway.
Will they do anything in neutral, or do I have to micro them?
Acknowledged. Aggressive tactics enabled. Diverting power to weapons. Neutral tactics enabled. Equalizing power. Target confirmed. Target acquired.
Do they do some like load balancing, or they like attempt to attack whatever the most efficient target is first, or anything like that?
Locked on target.
Roll click.
Resources exhausted. Construction paused. Mothership.
Locked on target.
I assume the research ship, and the mothership, and the resource collector, research, resource, and mothership can't do any damage and won't attack.
Reporting.
I mean, what formation is good? They told me to use claw before. Is that the better one?
Standing by.
Okay.
Evasive tactics enabled. Diverting power to engines. Standing by. Intercept course punched in.
Okay, so each formation is meant to map to a single kind of enemy that you're going up against, I guess.
The mothership is under attack. Mothership.
I thought I crafted way more. I thought I had like an extra assault frigate. The build queue just get oh, it's because I ran out of resources. Okay, I understand. That's just a thing that you find out through like trial and error, that those are the good. Looks like I've already lost, but I guess it's the tutorial, so I shouldn't stress out too much. All right, let's try this. Okay, you said Ushan, player setup, change things like color. Are these like presets for colors, basically? Cutscenes, here we go.
100 years ago, a satellite detected an object under the sands of the Great Desert. An expedition was sent.
I like the cutscene style.
An ancient starship buried in the sand.
So what should I have done to not get wiped out in the tutorial? Did I just need to instantly set everyone to claw and then set them manually to attack instead of trying to depend on them attacking on their own?
Deep
Has me
inside
more
the
than a little
room
concerned.
was a single stone that would change the course of our history forever.
I saw from your notes that this game, like, you
On the
carry over
stone
your
was
army,
etched a
so it
galactic
tries to
map.
scale difficulty to your army.
And a single word more ancient than the clans themselves. Higara.
I was hoping
Oh,
aggressive
oh.
would just make them seek out and fight enemies, but what's the use case for aggressive if it just gets you killed?
The clans were united, and a massive colony ship was designed. Construction would take 60 years.
Mine out the map if you can. Does when it's scaling difficulty for the next map, is it basing that only on your army, or is it basing it on the combination of your army and
new
resources?
sacrifices. The greatest of these was made by the scientist Khar-Selim, who had herself permanently integrated into the colony ship as its living core.
That's kind of cool.
She is now Fleet Command.
I like the story stuff.
The promise of the Guide Stone united the entire population. Every mind became focused on the true origin of our people. Every effort on the construction of the ship that would seek it out among the stars.
If we're going up against guys that aren't moving and aren't shooting me, isn't there already no reason to dodge? So, like, what is not being unaggressive? Are they just going to dodge nothing? I can understand the use case. Oh, hey. It's, Samuel Barber, right? Love this song. He's Adagio in D, I think. Adagio for strings, yeah.
What a beautiful sight.
This is Fleet Command. Reporting Mothership pre-launch status.
You can
Command
outscale the game.
online.
Okay.
Resourcing online.
Should put on the heart rate
Construction
monitor for this game.
online.
How
Cryogenic subsection.
is it possible for me to
control
soft lock
online.
myself then if the missions are carrying over resources and ships from previous missions?
Online.
I guess that's the thing I haven't had to worry about too much in these other games, that I at least start every mission with the resources necessary to win. I can soft lock myself in a mission, but I can always at least reload that step, I guess, right?
Alignment confirmed. Stand by, release control.
So this game was pretty important or impactful on the genre. I kind of have a bit of a sense of like what Warcraft, StarCraft, and like Red Alert did for the RTS genre.
The mothership has cleared the scaffold.
Has anyone tried to
We
make
are
like
aware.
a Homeworld indie version of Homeworld, or has this dev made significant additional games in the series? And we said that I'm playing the remaster on Steam, but we're intentionally playing the classic version because the remaster is compromised in some way. Relic is the biggest modern RTS dev, and Homeworld 3 is coming out soon. Okay.
Stand by for command line testing.
Command line green, initial fleet in position.
Kharak system. Save instantly. Used to doing this. Save Scummin's the name of the game.
Awaiting assignment.
Fleet intelligence going online.
Okay, we're getting some tutorial.
Our task is to analyze all sensor data and generate mission objectives. Before the hyperdrive test, several trials must be completed. Test construction by building the primary research ship.
Build a research ship.
Test resource processing by harvesting the asteroids provided nearby.
Hyperspace module.
So what are the
charging.
ratios of
35% capacity
research
and
ships, resource
rising. The
collectors,
mothership will be
scouts,
ready
that
for
kind
the
of a thing
hyperdrive
when I'm new
test
to a
in
map?
10 minutes. Construction commencing.
Stand by to begin combat trials. First, we will be monitoring formation performance. Target drones have been provided here. Assign a formation to your fighters and destroy the drones.
Scout complete.
Reporting.
So we already start with some scouts.
Ready for orders. Receiving.
Tell it to just do the scouts.
Resources depleted.
Now I want them to be in claw. And I hit space. And I control click this? Or do I have to move them there first?
Coordinates confirmed.
I got those guys.
Responding.
I guess I'm building an extra resource collector for no reason because I already have one, or should I be building like... This is something that I really struggled with in the StarCraft and Warcraft games. Like, how many peons am I supposed to make, right? Is it... Depends on the map. Is it a static amount per level? If I'm not to speculatively build, how do I know how many to build?
Acknowledge. Acquisition enabled. Reporting for duty. Law formation confirmed. Standing by.
Right, the time's already moving. Already like losing from the mistakes I made at the beginning here. What are these guys? Not selected.
Mothership.
Reporting.
Have I, through speculative building, have I already failed this mission? Should I restart right now? I need to turn on the heart rate monitor.
Standing by.
Got this extra scout. I guess I can send him over here. Here, I guess.
Understood.
Okay, so I have already fucked it up. Okay, thank you. That's good to know. Useful to know when I have already failed. Thanks. Does it get to a point where I have to, like, guess at what my builds need to be instead of the game just kind of telling me in the campaign?
Before the hyperdrive test, several trials must be completed. Test construction by building the primary research ship.
Just the research ship.
Test resource processing by harvesting the asteroids provided
Which
nearby.
I just told it to do. Okay.
Waiting assignment.
Hyperspace module charging. 35% capacity and rising. The mothership will be ready for the hyperdrive test in 10 minutes.
Responding.
Stand by to begin combat trials. First, we will be monitoring formation performance. Target drones have been provided here.
Doesn't require a lot of
Assign a formation
APM.
to your
Okay.
fighters and destroy the drones.
I guess the APM hasn't always been the source of stress for me. It's the feeling that there are lots of little trivial mistakes I can make that can cause me to soft lock or require me to restart the round, and not knowing how I'm supposed to know like what it expects of me. So knowing that the game is, at least for this mission, going to tell me just build this and don't, you know, mess around with it or you're going to die or run out of resources, that's helpful. I am worried about strategic soft lock of not carrying enough resources from this mission to the next and having to load back a mission.
Fighter chassis research immediately.
Commencing heavy fighter chassis research.
I just have to double click for that. I don't have to also hit research. Okay. Does it still want me to fight these drones? I don't know if I can go somewhere to review all my tasks. That's just down here. Destroy target drones using a formation. Okay.
Awaiting assignment. Attack clearance received.
And they're not going to fight back, so this is just making sure I understand the control click mechanic. How much does positioning matter here? It looks like they have to do passes, so like, can I just die because I told them to attack when they were too close and have to waste a bunch of time backing up and around, I guess? Okay, we're getting a little cutscene.
Formation trial complete. Flight analysis shows a 22% increase in combat performance. The next trial will test the effectiveness of tactics. Stand by to begin tactics trial. Use aggressive or evasive tactics and engage the target drones here.
But not neutral? Is neutral just like a mix of aggressive and evasive?
Acknowledged.
Sorry, I read your thing that you
Available
sent, but
resources consumed.
I find that a lot of like tips and tricks like that from people who are already familiar with the game are much less like stressed than I am, so I'm worried that I'm gonna make mistakes that are gonna cause, like, I'm forgetting to save. Let's start doing that again. Just trying to let me know that tactics are a thing. Okay, so this is like an extended tutorial. This is something that would play even if I didn't take the explicit tutorial, right?
Ready for orders. Understood.
I didn't actually set them to move last time. So I had to do it with
Receiving.
tactics, now wants me to do it with... Okay, I had to do it with a formation, now wants me to do it with tactics, I see.
Interceptor available for construction.
Responding.
Appreciate your faith in me.
Engaging.
I can do info overload. I've played some pretty complicated games. It's just the format of an RTS just seems like it's filled with opportunities to not build your toy box correctly, right? To like... Because the game doesn't give you, here's your army, and this is how we expect you to win, is with these specific units, and you have to like build those units. It always feels to me like you have to like participate in the game design process, which is hard for me to grok, and I don't think I've ever played another game genre similar that asks you to understand like what the meta is, right? In addition to asking you to participate in like the tactical combat stuff. I can get my head around this, and I can get around like build orders and stuff like that, but the anxiety comes from the feeling that I could have already fucked up, and I'm not going to know that I fucked it up for another 20 minutes, right?
Tactics trial complete.
Is the adaptive difficulty like
Next trial will test
trustworthy though?
performance
I
of the
believe you.
Salvage Corvette.
I still can imagine like going into a
And
map
capture
with
the
no
target
resources
drone
and
here.
one ship and then dying as a result. Maybe there's always a way for me to fix it. Salvage Corvette, so I have to make a salvage Corvette.
Production underway.
I send these guys
Reporting for duty.
back.
Destination locked in.
I guess I can tell them to dock, right? And they'll just do that regardless of how far it is.
Dock proceeding with mothership. Reporting.
Is resource collector not doing anything because it's already harvested out everything that's available? Can I move the mothership?
Salvage Corvette complete.
Ready for orders.
Salvage Corvette. Okay.
Reporting for duty.
I do like the look of this game and the differences that it has from the other RTS games I've played. I can understand the draw, the sort of audience that it's pitching to, you know. It's cool.
On our way.
I actually kind of appreciated being in space. It makes it a bit easier for me to like eyeball what's going on at any given time, and they seem to give you a lot of controls over that aspect, so that's nice. Yeah, I like the music. Capture the drone.
Awaiting assignment. Target selected for salvaging.
Does that coincide with an action, or it's just a thing that salvage corvettes can left click to salvage? Kind of impressive how much detail you can get if you zoom in. I feel like that's a cool concept, but I'm probably always going to be at max zoom because this is the most information, right? Just the things salvagers can do. Oh, okay, that's helpful, Herm. Yeah, you said it's like you have to press Z to activate those, if I recall from your... I have your document pulled up here on another monitor. Special abilities, you can hold Z. Air corvettes and support frigates can heal. Heavy corvettes have an AoE burst fire. Will they not do any of those things unless if you explicitly order them to? Like if I have a healing unit, will they never heal unless if I tell them to? I'm curious how much like unit automation exists. Okay, so it sounds like very little. Like at best, if they're getting attacked, they might defend themselves, but I should be planning on having, like, telling each group to attack, telling each group to heal or use its abilities. Okay. Gotcha.
Stand by for hyperdrive test. Internal pressure doors sealed. Abort systems standing by.
Hyperspace module fully charged. I'm ready to initiate quantum wave generation on your mark. Good luck, everyone.
All sections have reported.
Okay, so this
in.
has
We are
taught me
clear to
about
proceed. Trigger the
changing
hyperspace
formations,
drive at your
changing
discretion.
tactics. I'm gonna write these down in the text file. Hold on. Mission 1. So we got fighters. Tactics, don't use aggressive unless enemy isn't fighting back. Fighters. Formations, use claw on other fighters. Salvage corvette. Fired to collect salvage, just left click. Okay. Trying to make as many future Marstead notes as possible. But yeah.
Mothership.
Does it remember that across missions?
Aggressive tactics set. Diverting power to weapons. Assuming neutral tactics. Equalizing power. Military parade formation confirmed.
Do I have unlimited fuel to distribute to ships? Like, is that an actual resource that's being tracked, or is it just a question of how long they've been out away from the base? I guess we said that I want to try to gather as many resources as I can here. Are there any resources left here, or is this all space dust? Feels unlimited from suppliers. Okay, that's good to know. Cryo tray. Map is empty. Okay, thanks.
Auto docking.
How does quick docking work? Is that just there's no more threat, so we're just gonna skip this manually happening? Okay, thanks.
Hyperspace initiated.
Let me write that in my notes. I like the hyperspace animation. That's cool.
All hyperspace systems operating at full power.
If the hyperspace targeting system is accurate, we will emerge in close proximity
Will
to the
harvesters
support vessel
try to
Khar-Selim.
cover the entire
This
map,
ship
no matter
has
how
spent
far
the
away they
past
are?
10 years traveling on conventional drives to reach the outer Kharak system. The Khar-Selim will monitor the quantum waveform as we return to normal space and assist in tuning our drive control systems. If the hyperspace module malfunctions,
I really like this like
the Khar-Selim
black and
will
white
provide
pencil drawing
assistance and
style for the
resupply.
cutscenes.
Mission objectives will be to dock with the support vessel in order to complete adjustments to the mothership and her drives.
All ships auto
That's a really
launching.
stylish way to do hyperspace travel.
We made it. Hyperspace jump complete. All systems nominal, and the quantum wave effect has dissipated.
Oh, it's concept art. I like it a
We
lot.
have
It looks good.
misjumped. The support ship is not here. Fleet Command will signal the Khar-Selim while we confirm our current position.
I don't hit the save file limit. That's happened to me in like every Blizzard
This is the
RTS
mothership
game so
calling
far.
support vessel Khar-Selim. Come in, please. We've misjumped and are requesting your beacon. This is the mothership calling support vessel Khar-Selim. Please respond.
Acknowledged.
Priority alert, we have picked up the Khar-Selim's automated beacon.
I was waiting for the game to tell me to do that.
Send a
So
probe to
should I
make
be doing that
contact
anyway?
and re-establish communications.
Just build the next thing no matter what it is, basically. Okay, yeah, you have that in your notes, but I wasn't sure whether I could rely on the game to tell me. Always check research, regardless what game says. It'll help me to fine-tune my notes for future Marstead. Research only costs time. So a way to trivially misplay then is to just not click on it, because if it doesn't cost you anything and there's rarely a choice, you just pick the next one. It's just like, are you remembering to click this menu occasionally and set it going? Okay. Send a probe. Does that mean I have to build a probe? Okay, a probe.
Construction commencing. Probe complete.
I like the story implication of this part, like what the hell's going on with this misjump, what's out here, that's fun.
Probe dispatched.
Oh, so if I get the move wrong, it won't be able to scan it? I like the mid-mission cutscenes, that's cool. Add that as a note. Probes can only move once, so don't fuck it up, or you'll have to reload a save. What kind of tolerance is there for failure in stages? Like, can I lose 50% of my forces, 25% of my forces? Realistically, I know we're saying that there's adaptive difficulty, but I can't, having not played the game before, I don't have y'all's insight into it, right? I can imagine screwing up so badly that the next level is like almost impossible. It's cool. I really like it dynamically transitioning into this cutscene here. This is cool. As long as you win, you're probably fine. Okay. Are the maps ever laid out in such a way that a map begins where combat is happening instantly, or do I always have a chance to like rebuild at the beginning before I start getting... How aggressive are the enemies too? Because that was another thing with like Warcraft and Starcraft, is I'd be playing the level and then like 40 minutes in, out of nowhere, the computer would attack me for the first time.
The mothership is under attack.
That's bad.
Engage incoming units. The mothership must be defended.
Ooh, I'm trying. I guess they were still part of a cutscene at that point, so I couldn't target them earlier. Yeah,
Designated.
I'll try to do control groups. Is there any limit to the number of units in control groups? That was something in StarCraft that was driving me crazy, that there were only so many units in a control group, and you always had to attack move whenever you moved, so the action of, I just want to move this big group of like 40 guys to attack this one enemy involved clicking many, many times, right? It was like 1 A click, 2 A click, 3 A click, 4 A click, 5 A click, right? You can have huge groups. Okay, that's good to hear. I like the music and tone of this section. This is cool. So what do evasive maneuvers mean? Are the units physically moving, or is it just like they get like a flat chance to avoid damage? Oh god. What is... Can I do anything about this? Research ship, right?
Commencing Corvette chassis research.
Me add an exclamation point to the check research thing. All the damage is physically simulated. You can dodge projectiles. Okay, so it's not like numbers, it's them trying to physically move out of the way.
Units destroyed. Threat eliminated.
Mothership
Can they all
sustained
repair for
manageable
free
damage.
if they dock?
Repairs are underway.
The Khar-Selim has been destroyed.
That seemed like that was easier than the
Heavy
tutorial,
weapon
but
damage is
I guess
visible
it's
on
because
the
they weren't
remaining
unaggressive.
fragment. A salvage corvette must be sent to retrieve the mission data recorder.
Salvage the Khar-Selim.
Responding.
Can I always, like, as long as my units survive a fight, will they always heal to full by docking? Or can they have damage that's just on them permanently that I can't recover? Like, the research ship looks like it took some damage that I didn't stop. And it won't dock? Question mark? Or I would need to have a dedicated unit to heal it, I suppose. Everything can full heal. Okay, that's good to know. What's with the green circle? Is this like the space that I've already scouted, and if I go outside the green circle, I might encounter things outside my fog of war or something like that? It's just reference. Is there a game speed toggle in this too, like plus and minus on the keyboard? Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I had to play a lot of those Blizzard games on, like, whatever the minimum game speed was. Okay, so it just wants me to salvage and presumably doesn't need me to do anything else.
Reporting. Resources downrange.
This guy will try to harvest because there are some nodes over this way, it looks like. And I should try to harvest all these before leaving this map. Should I never make another resource collector?
Research complete.
Unless if the game tells me to?
Light Corvette available for construction. Commencing heavy Corvette upgrade research.
So the salvage Corvette's the only one that can salvage, but what's the use case for the light Corvette? I get that the repair Corvette repairs things. It hasn't told me to make one yet, so I'm not going to. It's cool. Just like its capacity for resources that it has to bring back. Corvettes are heavier, slower fighters. Heavy Corvettes are good at countering fighters. Okay. So everything has kind of got like a rock, paper, scissors thing like StarCraft then, I suppose. I think there's a lot to like about this. I think one of the main problems I've had with this genre is just that everyone who's familiar with them has like irreversible hindsight bias about the game. Like they've already played the game so much that they already know what the levels are going to be like, what the challenge is going to be like, what the dangers are. And it's like difficult to reclaim your feeling of what it was like to play it for the first time and to actually be blind. And so for me, it's like, I can trust everything you're saying and I completely believe you, and it's true that like the levels will scale and I can just build what it tells me to build. But I still have this fear that's been like ingrained in me from other RTS games that no, I can fuck up, and I can fuck up in a way that I'm not going to know that I fucked up for another 40 minutes, or in this case, potentially hours, right? If I don't gather enough resources on the earlier stages. Yeah. So this is interesting. I'm not, don't let my, angst make you think I'm not interested in this game, because it's got some cool ideas already. So this probe is just stuck here now, right?
Ready for orders. Salvage target acquired.
I'm tempted to build more resource collectors since there seem to be way more resources on this map. Should I also build more salvage Corvettes?
Heavy Corvette upgrade research complete. Heavy Corvette available for construction.
You can salvage the probe. What did the probe actually do? I got distracted by the cool little cutscene that played when I got out here. Did it like let me see this even though it was far away from me? Is it like showing, would it show units, like combat units in range or something?
Priority alert. Additional hostile units detected on
Jesus
an intercept
Christ.
course with the Khar-Selim. Protection of the salvage team is a primary objective. It must return to the mothership with the mission recorder. We need that data.
Underway.
Or I've already failed for not having my fighters here, but my fighters are relatively fast.
Target acquired. Intercept course punched in. Target confirmed.
Main strength is that they're fast.
Reporting for duty.
Did they get there in time?
.con enabled. Receiving.
I like the layout of the stages so far. I guess we'll see how they evolve in the future, but I kind of like the idea of like explore and then salvage and then protect salvage, right? But in this case, it seems like the enemy fighters spawned as soon as the salvage completed. They weren't just like building an economy off in the distance. Enemy battles are always like scripted based on the conditions of the stage. Is that always true, or am I ever going to be up against an enemy economy? Okay, I think they fucked up all of my fighters, sadly.
Reporting.
Maybe that's okay that they fucked up my fighters. Alright, I'm gonna make a save here. So future Marstead, I think you've already fucked this up irrevocably because you didn't have enough scouts to protect the salvage ship, and the enemies spawned when the salvage ship finished. So you can go back a couple saves to right before you sent the salvage ship there and send a bunch of scouts with them, maybe build some extra ones or send some of the corvettes that you can build with them. I think knowing that the computer doesn't have an economy is a huge, massive improvement for me over other RTS games, because there's this feeling that behind the scenes, without me knowing what's going on, the computer is just amassing this death ball that I'm going to find out about in 40 minutes. But if I can generally rely on the idea that no, there's a fixed number of enemies, or they've got a fixed behavior, or they behave in reaction to me, I can deal with that a lot better. I think the thing that bothers me about most RTS games is the feeling that it's simulating me playing against a player, but I can't make the same assumptions about a PvP RTS as I can about a campaign RTS, right? If it's all going to be like scripted, developer intent, riddled surprises, that's much better for me, especially if it scales from there. Yeah, I've got a bunch of notes. I have all the notes you sent me already saved. Thank you, Destinier. I am interested in playing more of this game. Sorry if I was stressed out. I'm sure I'll get better with time.